What's up, guys? In this video, I will be doing a demonstration of a website I created using HTML and Cascade style sheets. The paragraphs that I got on my website, I retrieved from Lorem IPsum generator, and the images I have from my website, I retrieved from unsplash.com. And I want to say before we begin that this website is not the most creative website ever. It was created strictly for this video to demonstrate how to create a website using HTML and Cascade style sheets. We're only using HTML and Cascade style sheets. We're not using JavaScripts or anything like that. Later, I'll do a future video to where we can get into JavaScripts and other things. But for this video only, we are using HTML and Cascade style sheets. Now, before we get into the HTML aspect, I'll just do a quick demonstration of the website itself. So as you can see, this is the home page, home HTML. We have a nice little background image here. We have our navigation bar here. We have our heading. We have our table heading. And on the home page, I created a table with the columns. And essentially, this is the second table in the table. So heading, we have our columns. And if we click on contact, that brings us to the contact HTML. Again, we have a background image, our heading, another heading, and here I created a form. And as you can see, we added a gradient background to the website, which we will fill out this form later. Okay, but we'll get into that later. As you can see, this is just a form with comments. We have an image here. And at the bottom, I added a newspaper column to the web page. And again, I got these paragraphs from Lorem IPsum generator. And we have an aside. We have an aside with smart quotes here. And if we click list, that brings us to list HTML. And as you can see, a little animation popped up when you first enter the web page. There it is. We have our gradient image in the background. We have a list here. We have an element with rounded corners and a box shadow as well. And here we have a pseudo class selector, which makes the first letter look like that. And here I just wanted to add an audio clip. You can add videos, whatever. I just added a quick little brief audio clip. As you can see, it's people clapping. And we have another image here which expands if you hover over it. And just like the text says, click the photo to proceed to the next page. You click the picture and it brings you back to the home page. Now, as you can see, I have my HTML documents here side by side with the website. So I'll briefly explain how this all works. And we are using Notepad Plus to create our HTML documents. You always want to start out with the doc type HTML. And here's our HTML. And now we are in our head of our document. We have the meta tag, which that gives the browser instructions on how to handle the website. Link rel style sheet, which is href styles.css, which here, this is our style sheet that we're using for the HTML documents. And title is Minchenko Systems. As you can see up here, Minchenko Systems. And image source, images. Now we're using relative paths. Okay, you always want to use relative paths because if a hacker hacks into your web server, you don't want them accessing files that you wouldn't want anybody to access to. Okay, so we're using relative paths. As you can see, these are all the files from our website, and I have nothing else saved in here. So images, and that's the name of the image, which I got off Unsplash, as I told you earlier. And alternate is photo, so if their browser doesn't produce the photo, they'll get a text saying photo. Width is 100%, height is 300 pixels. Now we're into our navigation bar. Here's our navigation bar. Now we gave it, we div class. The class is navigation. As you can see in our Cascade style sheet, navigation. And we also have another class, sudo, that's in the navigation, which is an unordered list. And as you can see, list item, href equals home HTML. So home, that brings you to the home HTML page. And we got it spelled home. Home. Contact. Contact, which that takes you to the contact HTML. List. List, which that brings you to list HTML. And let's take a look at that pseudo class in our Cascade style sheet. And as you can see, this styles CSS is linked to our HTML document up here. So, okay, let's see. Pseudo. So, in our pseudo unordered list, our list items, we want to hover over it. The color is black, as you can see, and the background color is green. That's how we're able to get that green background and make the text black, is with that pseudo element hover. So, anyways, and that's going to end our navigation. Now I added a style element here for our table. So table rows, which would be columns, table data, table header, border, 1 pixel solid black, border collapse, width 100%, shaded, background color is green, color is white, and font size 150%. We want the shaded, class shaded, and background color green, white, class big, font size 150%. That's going to be the end of our style element, which that essentially is how our table has the green background in the header and the font size. So div class header, Minchenko Systems. And let's take a look at that header class. As you can see, text align center, which brings it to the center, width 100%, background color green, margin top negative 22%, which that brings it this close to the navigation bar. So I'll do a quick demonstration of that. We'll hit copy. Let's delete that. Save. Refresh. As you can see, that brings it low to here, but I like it a little closer. So save, margin top negative 22%, and that brings that there. Okay, now that ends our header. Now we're into the body of the HTML document. We have our table, table head, table row, class is shaded, which that brings that. So table row shaded. And here's our table row. And we have table data, which is title 1. The next data for the next row is table input example. And then the next row or column, we'll just say column, but TR for table row. The next table data for that column is $1, and that ends that row. And then for the next table row, table data, title 3, well, title 2, I skipped one, but you get what I'm saying. So title 2, close it out. Table input example, close it out. $2. So title 2, table input example, $2. And I won't ramble on about the rest. It all works the same. But you see, this is the table I created, and that is how it works. And then we will finish off our table, close off the body, and then close off the HTML document. Next web page, we'll go to contact. All right, and again, works the same. I won't explain it all. I don't want to waste your time trying to make this video as quick as possible, but I already explained this in the last document, so we will skip that part. And class sudo, same thing. That's our navigation menu. Div class header, contact us. And we're into the body. We have a div class header 2, which that is that. Let's take a look at the style sheet. Header 2, text align center, font size 109%. And that's how we get that in the center. The background is not green because I did not specify that class to be green. So yes, and then into the body, header 2. Please reach out with us for your concerns. I just explained that. Div class, linear gradient, linear grad 2. That's what I named the class for the background. As you can see, we have a linear image here, which starts from green and mixes into black. Let's take a look at that. So linear gradient 2 with 100%. Now when you say with 100%, it goes through the whole web browser. Height 560 pixels. So as you can see, that's the height. Background color green. Background image linear gradient to bottom right, green and black. And that's how we have that green and black linear gradient image. Okay, and we have div class column left. So let's see here. Basically, floats left, padding 10 pixels. So basically, in this class of column left, we have our form. So form action. Now, in this video, we don't have a web page for myscript.py, but if I did, whatever you fill out in this form and send, it's ultimately going to go to myscript.py, but we don't have one, but that's what it would do, which would myscript.py would be a Python script that we write to access our MySQL database for the input of this form. So method is get the input, field set, width 482 pixels, the border color is black, the legend style font size 320%, font weight bold, color black, and the title is personal information, which as you can see, that's this stuff here. And for the first one, we have label. For first is first name, which as you can see here, first, when you submit that, it would go look for first in the database, but we don't have a database link to this. Input size, it can only be 25 characters. Type is a text. ID is first. Name is first name. That's what it would link up to in the database. Label, last name. Input size, 25 characters. Type equals text. ID is last. Name is last name. Same with the zip code. So label for zip code. Input placeholder 12345. Input placeholder, as you can see, that is that. If you click on it, that's just stuff I typed in before, so ignore that. But that's the input placeholder here 12345. Pattern 0 through 9. So on invalid, you must type exactly 5 numbers in a row. On input, this sets custom validity, and it is required. So if you don't type it in, it's not going to let you submit the form. So same thing for email. Size 35 characters. phone number, input placeholder 12345. Pattern, that's the pattern we have to use. On invalid, you must type the phone number in the correct format. On input, this sets custom validity. And yeah, for the comments, same thing. I don't want to talk your head off. Works the same way. So let's do a demonstration of this form. So we'll do Seth. We'll do dribbler, just some random, something I just randomly type. Zip code 555. Let's just type in incorrect email. We'll just type QQQ. And let's do a incorrect phone number. Just type that. And when we hit send, as you can see, please include an @ in the email address. And as you can see for the phone number, please match the requested format. So it has to be something like that. And for the email, we'll just put that. And essentially, when we hit send, because everything matches, that would go to myscript.py. As you can see up here, myscript.py, which that would be our database. But that is a whole nother topic. We'll get into that on another video. Not now. But in this website, we do not have a database. So, anyways, yeah. And then let's keep scrolling. Input type submit. That's the button. Value is send, which that sends it over to myscript.py. And we have another class for column middle. Let's see what we have here. I'm losing my train of thought. So anyways, that class is column middle. Yeah, we have column, float left, 10 pixels. Image source, and again, relative pass. That is the image that we used. which I'll show you. Let me do a demonstration of that. So here we have images, and these are the images for the website. So that is the relative path to that folder and that image. Again, I already explained that in the previous HTML document. Won't say that again. And then we have column right, div class header, newspaper, and div class newspaper, paragraph. That's the paragraph. And aside with the quote uh, is here. That's that. And as you can see, the quote is from Mr. Example, which I put that here. And let's look at div class newspaper. Let's take a look at that in our style sheet. So we have column count 2, which is 2 columns. That's how we get that. Column gap 10 pixels. Column rule 3 pixels solid green. And in our style sheet, aside, width 40%, padding left, which puts it here. Font style, that gives that the font that style. Italic, background color green. All right. And when you open a paragraph and then close it, that is how you get the space here. And that is our contact HTML form. Now we'll click on list, and the image animation popped up when you first open it. So list HTML, again, this works exactly the same as the other documents. So in our body, div class animation. Let's go back into our Cascade style sheet. Animation. There's our class animation. Width 150 pixels. Height 150 pixels. Background color is green. Position is relative. Animation name example. Animation duration 4 seconds. And you always have to put keyframes at keyframes example. So at 0%, the background color is green, left 0 pixels, top 0 pixels. 25% yellow, left 100%, top 0 pixels. So again, that's how it goes from here all the way to the left, and it's going to turn yellow, as you can see, like that. And then at 50%, it's going to be blue, left 200 pixels, top 200 pixels. So that's where it's at when it's blue. And 75% red. And then 100% is back to green. And left is 0 pixels, top 0 pixels. That's how it is. And div class list. We have an unordered list here, as you can see, with bullets. Item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5. And here's our list class, text align center, font size 150%. And then div class rounded borders with the header 1 of rounded borders. And rounded borders, as you can see, the background color is green. Color is black. Border radius 16 pixels. Padding left 10 pixels. Padding bottom 10 pixels. We have our box shadow. 6 pixels. Width 98%. So it's just right there with 98%. And text align center. And div class text, which in that class we have our paragraph. This is an example of adding audio to a website. And there's that sentence there. Now let's take a look at text. Let me see, what was that? Div class text. Font size 125%. And we have another pseudo element, pseudo class of first letter. And that's how we get that to have the color green and the font size 200%. So, and then our audio source, relative path, controls, which as you can see, in the media file plus MP3, media a plus MP3, and that is that. And then we want to do a break, which gives that a space. And then we have our image, which, okay, href home HTML. Image class image source, and that's the image. So basically, when we click on that, it's going to take us to home HTML. And let's go back to list. Look at the little animation going. So again, if the browser can't produce the image, it's going to come up with the text named photo. Width is 15%. Height is 300 pixels. It looks kind of funny on the half screen. Full screen, it looks a lot better. And let me see here. Home image. Okay. So the class is image. Let's go into our style sheet. So we have image for our class, and we have our pseudo class selector is hover. So when you hover over the image, scale 1.5, translate 30 pixels, 35 pixels, transition all 0.5 seconds ease, and that is how we get it to do that. And as you can see, we have our paragraph. Click the photo to proceed to the next page. And then we close out our body. And we close out the HTML document. So, again, like I said, not the most creative website ever. Just wanted to do something quick and easy to give a quick demonstration on how websites are created with HTML, and we link style sheets to it. And again, in the next video, we'll get into JavaScript and things like that. But for this video only, we used HTML with Cascade style sheets. We did a brief demonstration of a form, how forms work. And when you submit that form, it will go into a database, but we don't have one here on this website. So again, I hope you liked the video. Again, that is the demonstration on how to create a website using HTML and Cascade style sheets. Thank you guys. You have a terrific day. God bless.